Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of American and Germany. Today in Ireland together with
Woody Kane from Walsh Whiskey Distillery.
And we have just done a wonderful tour of the distillery. It's very, very nice. Woody, explain a little bit about the history for the people that don't know anything about this wonderful place.
Well, we are here in Royal Oak, which is a fantastic place here in the south of Ireland. It's a place called Carlow, and this has got steeped in history in not only just Irish history, but of course history for whiskey as well. There's quite a lot of elements in here. We have an old house on site in 1755, bang in the Helicon era for Irish whiskey. We have some oak trees on site that stretch back about 250 years, so beautiful connection with the oak, which of course is great for maturation in the oak barrels that we use. Then you've got water sources here. We've got a fantastic aquifer underneath them. We've got a beautiful River Barrow, one of the main rivers of Ireland, flowing right beside our land, which we use as our cooling water as well. We take that in too. So there's quite a lot of elements in here, and the biggest thing we have is the land itself, bringing it back to the old way that it used to be, just like the monks used to have back in the past, where they would have those distilleries on small little farms. So we're trying to bring that feel back again by being here in this beautiful rural setting.
All right. So if you've ever seen some of my videos, we have, of course, the Irishman and we have Writer's Tears. What's the main difference between those two brands that you have?
They are more the consumer side of it. So a consumer looks at it. The Irishman goes back to a time when it was pre-religious, pre-politics, and it was basically you're proud to be Irish. So it really has that reminiscence of the old age way of being involved in whiskey. So that's what the Irishman will bring across. And of course, altogether with both brands, there are 10 different types of whiskey, and expanding every single year we bring out some more. So each and every single one of them are different. Now Writer's Tears, it started off with the Writer's Tears Copper Pot, which was a throwback to the old writers of our time. So if you think of like James Joyce, Brendan Behan, J.M. Singh, those old writers, one thing they all had in common was writer's block, which I can imagine everyone understands. But these days we know writer's block is really when your imaginary friends won't talk to you anymore and you don't know what to say. But back then it was a major problem for the writers, and when they had that, if they didn't write, they didn't get paid, they didn't eat, so they became melancholy and sad. And Jason, if an Irishman gets sad, we go straight to the pub. So yes. What they drank at the time was the champagne of Irish whiskey. It was a very special, superior blend. It was taking your superior single malt, your superior pot still whiskey, bringing them together to create, as I said, what became known as the champagne of Irish whiskey. So that died out over time, because when we ended up getting the grain whiskey in, it was a lot cheaper to make. Yeah. So when that died out, Bernard and Rosemary Walsh are big into history. So when they wanted to bring their first whiskey out, they said, let's bring something back to life from the past. So that's how the Founders Reserve in the Irishman range was born, and of course Copper Pot and Writer's Tears. And the story with those writers, that they drank this champagne of Irish whiskey, and they drank and drank and drank a bit more until they suddenly got the inspiration they were seeking. So when that came, they had tears of joy, and every single teardrop, of course, because of the whiskey they drank, was a drop of whiskey itself. So this is our collection of Writer's Tears.
Right. Very good. My actual introduction to good Irish whiskey was Writer's Tears, and that was very, very important for me, and a good step in the right direction. Now, there are many different finishings at the moment. There's an old Marsala finish, which is impossible to find. There's a new Caribbean cask finish, which is just coming on the market. Would you like to explain something about that?
Yeah, it's we took the St. Lucian rum barrels, and we said we'd like to do something special. So we're starting some cask finishes. First one, Marsala one, came from Sicily, and we produced that. That's completely sold out. Yeah. Now we have our rum finish at the moment, so if you get to see that, I would get it, because it will be sold out soon.
I think like 6,000 or 9,000 bottles. How many do you know?
Well, it's casked, so you're looking at 12 casks, and we get about 380 from every cask. So while yes, there might be that amount, it's cut down even more in its individuality because of the single cask variety that they are. Yep.
Very, very good. Now, there's also cask strength every year from Writer's Tears, one of my favorites. Now, what's the particular thing about 2018?
Well, 2018 is a very special year for us. Every year has got a little bit of a nuance to it. So this year, 2018, it's one of my particular favourites. I really do like it. There's quite a lot of notes from it. beautiful spiciness coming from it. That, yes, it was there before, but it really impacts well on this year, I think myself. And it's really, really good. The packaging is if you have noticed from the different years, we used to go with colours with drops. Now we've changed into more of an explanation of how it's made, and you see the actual development of the whiskey in its production on the packaging itself. So a whole new development as well. We brought it out last year, was the first year we started to do that. So it's really nice packaging, and of course, quality is superior, and that's what we're looking for.
Now, if I may ask, the quality, you have started distilling yourself here on site. It was 2000 and...
It was 2 years ago we started. We're 2.5 now at this stage. Okay. So we started here. You're looking at starting the whole project with about 2014 we started. The build, then of course building the whole thing up. Then in 2016 June we started producing. So it was Easter Sunday when the first liquid came off, and we're really looking forward to seeing what we've done with that, because as we go along testing, it's fantastic.
Now, downstairs, I'm going to buy the 17-year-old then Irishman from a sherry cask. Very, very nice. So where did that liquid come from in that cask?
Well, in that cask, when we started off back in 1999, we were doing a product called the Hot Irishman Irish Coffee, and Bernard and Rosemary, their background is farming, and they realised that this was their focus. So they went and they sought a mash bill contract, which is where we end up making our own liquid in a different distillery. So that, when that came out first, the 17 was one of the first barrels we laid down, and which was our own liquid that we made ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. So. And very, very important, triple distilled.
Everything that we do is triple distilled, the old Irish traditional way. Now, obviously, everybody knows in the past both Scotland and Ireland would have done double and triple distillation, and we both would have played with peat and non-peated. But just Ireland's tradition became that smoother, the extra distilled, so to get the triple distillation is what we became known for, and of course non-peated. Great.
One last question: what can we look forward to in the future now?
Well, I'm telling you, there is another one of these coming out, and we're looking at the moment. We're looking at coming out with a cognac finish is one of the things. And
very good. I like cognac finishes.
You're going to like this a lot, I'd say. So and there's a lot to look out for. We've got quite a lot in mind. We, like we're saying, we have our distillery now. Yeah. Now we can play. Yeah. You know, we have the freedom to play. And my God, the creativeness of Bernard Walsh, he's ready to play. So there's going to be a lot coming out.
I'm really, really looking forward to the next 10 to 15 years here. This is going to be fantastic. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of American and Germany, together with
Woody Kane from Walsh Whiskey Distillery.
Thank you very much, Woody.
You're very welcome.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Take care.